So who's ready for some street fighting? Dad, you want to fight in the street?
No. Going outside is boring.
But come on, man, it's the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter, and Capcom celebrated it by giving us a fighting collection with one SF game, and the majority of the rest are Darkstalkers. You know what? Whatever.
Darkstalkers needed something.
Yeah, too bad they censored some of the shit in it. Fucking Capcom. But anyways, back to this though. So, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, or I guess, would you say it came up as Street Fighter 2 movie? Did it just say that in the credits? Not the movie, just the movie.
So the thumbnail / box art just said Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, it comes up as that.
It didn't even say 2.
Yeah,
and then once the card came up for the title on the show itself, it just said Street Fighter 2 movie. Not the movie, just movie.
Yeah. Well, this movie is considered a seminal classic, and yes, we'll be covering the other Street Fighter anime stuff in the future, because why not? Street Fighter animated stuff's, for the most part, gone by pretty okay, from what I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, even the 4 movie, from what I remember, was alright too.
Yeah. That's the thing, Capcom's anime adaptations, I'm trying to think of any that are just grade A, ungodly, awful garbage. But I'm having a hard time doing that. Because there's a lot with problems, but... Yeah, it was at least still entertaining, as dumb as it was. It's also forgettable, though. I wouldn't call that grade A garbo, it was just meh.
If you want grade A garbo, just look to Paul for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get to this. So Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, or the movie, came out in 1994 by Group TAC, a studio that went bankrupt, and they worked on Superman the Animated Series, and they also did Gilgamesh, which explains why they went bankrupt. How do you go from this? Yeah, how do you go from this to Gilgamesh? I guess everyone has an off day. Well, Manga Entertainment would release it in 1995 for everyone else, and Jesus, there are so many different versions of this movie. Yeah, there are no less than 3 different English dub takes for this film, all with the same cast, but with different varying scripts. Just
the one we're apparently covering is the uncensored English.
The middle of the road uncensored, because there's an even edgier script that was released exclusively in the UK.
I mean, this one is pretty edgy.
Yeah, but does it have Guile saying, "Bison, I'll rip your fucking heart out"?
I'm pretty sure he said he's gonna rip his heart out.
He says his lousy heart out in this version. There's comparisons on YouTube where you can see different things. There's also a scene where DJ says in this version, the middle version, which I think is the most common one people have seen, Shadow Law, huh? Yeah, we'll get to that. There are some badass mothers, whereas in the unrated UK version, he says badass motherfuckers. So, there is a reason why they did that, and it's really silly, but we'll get to that when we get to the script breakdown. So, yeah, multiple versions, including censored, uncensored VHSs, an even heavily more censored version in the Anniversary Collection on PS2.
Yeah. But apparently we watched the uncensored American version. That was labeled as the censored version?
Yeah, it was labeled as PG-13, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It had the Chun-Li scene fully uncut. God bless America. I mean, what? What were we talking about? Yeah. But let's get to the plot. So, the movie is as simple as it gets. Plot's simple, which is good. Bison wants to take over the world with his organization Shadow Law. Yeah, they call it that in this movie instead of Shadow Lu. I don't know where they got...
Was it ever written out in text that much in SF2?
Probably not. Maybe in the instruction manual. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Shadow Law I think sounds cooler. It makes more sense. Shadow Lu doesn't even... Like, what the hell does Shadow Lu even mean?
Yeah. I mean, the other surprising part is they said the characters' names right.
And even the technique names were... Yeah, even the technique names were almost, like, they were close enough.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Hadouken from Ken was just audio ripped from the game.
Yeah,
that's
but
what it sounded like.
You hear them do a full-on slow Hadouken in the climax. Yeah. But yeah, so Bison wants to take over the world because, of course. And the Guile and Chun-Li join forces to do some investigating to take down Shadow Law. Yeah, we're going to call them Shadow Law for the rest of this because that's what the movie called them in the dub. And Ryu is walking around the world because, of course, he is. That's all he knows how to
and over 30 years later, nothing has changed.
Yeah, it really has. Then you also get Ken, and he's basically just partying it up with his, at the time, girlfriend Eliza. Because they weren't married yet.
Yeah, but Ken also gives us a jump scare, but we'll get to that.
Fuck you, Alice in Chains. Yeah. As far as the rest of the characters, a decent amount of them are just cameos, but I think they work. Yeah. I don't have an issue with it. It's like, oh, cool. There's even an Akuma cameo in the background that's blink and you miss it, apparently, in one scene.
I apparently missed it.
Yeah, it's in, I forget the location, but it's basically to imply that he's following Ryu. Because, you know, that's his whole thing in the games, too. To be honest, I've seen some people like, oh, the plot's paper thin. It's like, the fact that they got this much out of it, though, back then, when Street Fighter's plot was barely fleshed out at all. It's kind of impressive, I think.
And I'm sorry, guys. Honda has peaked in this movie.
Yeah. But that's basically it. Everyone's going to have to converge and take on Bison and his associates. So, first, let's get the obvious out of the way, the animation, which everyone who's seen this movie knows it was, at the time, revolutionary for fight choreography and detail.
Oh, so just to get the meme out of the way, so you're saying it's better than Orient?
Damn it. Yeah.
Oh, come on, it should have something during the fight scenes. It's supposed to be a fucking battle showdown.
So
even Deadly Sins used to have that.
I mean, hey, this movie legit has what inspired the a lot of the Street Fighter shit going forward. Like the Alpha Games art style was adopted from this film.
Yeah, the flashbacks with Ken, straight up just his Alpha appearance with his long ponytail down to his fucking ass.
Yeah. I actually like those flashback scenes, too, because, again, it shows a lot more. I guarantee a lot of Alpha was based around those flashbacks as well, when they were fleshing out the plot. Like, oh, we could use this in Alpha! Or something.
I mean, yeah, in the way it fleshes out a lot of things without really having much, it's almost similar to the MK1 movie.
Yeah.
You know, except for what they did to Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
So, yeah, the animation's great, especially the dramatic battle that, again, Street Fighter also adopted from this movie of Ken and Ryu taking on Bison at the same, which always made sense to me, and I thought that was the canon. Yeah. But apparently the canon in the games is Ryu just takes on Bison by himself, and it's like, no, I prefer Ken and Ryu working together on him.
Yeah, you dropped the ball at sub 5 story mode. Fucking piece of shit.
we know the animation's good. What about the music? Okay, that's where it gets a little
Well, he
complicated.
already said it.
So when Manga Entertainment and all those other companies localized it, they decided to give it a 90s AF soundtrack in the American version. Korn, KMFDM, Alice in Chains, and a bunch of other 90s bands make it in.
Never expected an Alice in Chains jump scare.
Yeah, there's literally a scene where they're just talking normally, like, and there's silence going on. Then all of a sudden, it just cuts to Ken in his car, and then Bones is blasting in your ears at max volume. Fuck them Bones. No joke, dude. That made me jump. I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is that? And then it cut away with and then
a flashback
to
of
it.
his. Yeah, cut away to a flashback of Ken because he was thinking back and it had a different theme playing, and then it just cuts back to him in the car and then Bones blasting again. It's dumb.
And every character also seems to have an unlicensed theme song as well.
Yeah, Ryu, Bison, etc. The OST is fine. I actually saw a lot of people say the American one's better than the Japanese one. I haven't seen the one with the Japanese OST, so I couldn't say.
Well, those
but I know
people
it has
also never got jump scared by those bands.
Yeah. The Japanese one, though, I heard it uses its own licensed themes, too. And if you want to see the dub with the Japanese licensed track, apparently the Blu-ray that came out from Discotek has that option. In fact, it has every version of the dub. The censored dub without any swearing at all, both uncut dubs from the US and UK, and, well, the one I just mentioned. So if you want to watch the movie, just pick up that version, I guess. Gives you more than enough. Speaking of script, I guess it's about time we get to the reason this is called Dubster Dive, huh? So we have a lot of characters to go through. Oh, ADR director. What's up?
90% of them are just cameos that say, like, a sentence.
Yeah. The studio was Animes, who've covered, like, several times in the past month now. I'm starting to think this is the Animes retrospective. With ADR director Kevin Seymour, who, again, has ADR directed everything from them in the past month. Now, this where it gets interesting, though, is with the script. So the people behind the script were Mary Claypool and Mary Mason. Two Marys worked on the script. That's just silly. That must have been confusing when conversing over what to do with the script, or someone called you up.
Oh, sounds like they had a lot of fun.
And as we stated, apparently the UK version, because it wanted to include the Chun-Li shower scene, it needed to still had something else to get the 15+ rating. So they had to add in F-bombs in order to get that rating secured. Which is why they had to add in a bunch of fucks.
Meanwhile, the American version just has a bunch of calling people assholes.
Yeah, and shithead. Speaking of which, this is where the unrated version confusion gets even worse. So, the VHS unrated versions in the US, fun fact, the US version is still slightly censored. You just get Chun-Li's nude ass and not any of the nips. The UK version did the opposite. You get the nips without the ass. It wasn't until, like, years later they finally released just a normal version that gives you both. I have no idea why this happened.
I have no idea why there are so many versions of this stupid movie.
I don't know, dude, it's so dumb.
UK's always gonna make things complicated.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Nunchucks are too offensive.
Oh, just wait till we get to the Street Fighter 2 anime series that came out right after this film. Yeah, there's multiple versions of that because of the UK too.
But didn't it also have one done by the same people who did Defenders of the Realm?
That's the cartoon. I was talking about the anime. Because this actually had a straight-up anime. And we'll get to that one. But yeah, so back to the dub. First we have Ryu, which you all know it's not Kyle Aber. This was dubbed in 94-95, well before he started voice acting.
Way before he was the narrator of DBZ.
Yeah, so Ryu is voiced by Skip Stelrick, who you'd probably know as Might Guy from Naruto, or Vicious from Cowboy Bebop. And hearing him as Ryu, holy shit, I don't think anyone would be able to tell it was Guy.
I am only familiar with this Might voice mostly.
Yeah. I think he does fine as Ryu, the typical just stoic martial artist.
Yeah.
His take on him's alright. So, nothing really to say. Again, it's Ryu, guys. He's basic bitch. You all know him.
Hopefully he might get something in SF6.
Yeah. After him, we have Ken, voiced by Eddie Frierson, who's Tien from Dragon Ball Mystical Adventure, speaking of things with 80 million dubs.
What the fuck?
And Kai from the Gundam film trilogy. Again, his Ken's fine too. Him and Ryu constantly have to play off of each other in the flashbacks, and it works well. It's believable enough that the two of them are friends.
Quite closer. No, I mean that.
I mean, you do get a hilarious scene where when Bison introduces himself to Ken, Ken just goes, "Yeah, well, Buffalo, whatever your name is." And it's like, yeah, that's dub only. Because remember, Bison isn't his name in the Japanese version, because the names were all flipped around when it left Japan.
Yeah, it even
didn't do that on the computer screen when they were analyzing them or some shit.
Yeah, because it had all the text on that screen where their names was in English, so if you're familiar with how the names are, him and Balrog's name are switched.
Dude, that text, or that analyzation shit that Bison was using to analyze fighters made no sense. It was able to determine your leadership skills just by examining you. How? Whatever, it's silly. But hey, speaking of silly, it's waifu time, dog. Chun-Li! The one with the famous shower scene that everybody loves. She's voiced by Leah Sargent, who is Mitsuki from Android Kikaider the animation, and Artemis from Cyborg 009. No, not the useless cat from Sailor Moon. I also think her Chun-Li's fine too. I mean, hey, she is probably my favorite fight scene in the movie. Is Chun-Li your waifu?
Oh.
What?
No.
Oh.
So it looks like
the rest of the internet.
An absurd amount of people. That includes the rest of the internet.
Yeah. Now this is what, though, that threw me off. Guile, voiced by Kirk Thornton. And to be honest, I almost couldn't even tell it was him at first.
Unfortunately, he doesn't say Maria.
He does shout Chun-Li a lot, though. But it's Brandon Heat from the Gungrave anime. I need to specify that because Gungrave's dub is not consistent at all.
Not like it matters much, it's how little he fucking talks as Brandon Heat.
He's also Rojiro, because we lost Chris Smith in Bleach. But most importantly, he got to play guards, ninjas, and soldiers in Puppet Princess.
What was that last one?
The anime name? The anime name's Puppet Princess. It's a really...
I thought you meant that was an odd voice in this movie.
No.
Like, what?
No, that's what he played in this
Street
movie.
Fighter is weird, but come on.
Yeah, I think his Guile's fine too. He goes off the whole for America vibe, and he wants Bison for revenge.
I guess this movie was before they really went all in on giving him the American flag tats on his shoulders.
Yeah, or it could have been too difficult to animate the entire film. Who knows?
Well, no one picks fucking Guile unless they want to be an asshole.
Next time we play any Street Fighter game, I'm picking Guile just for you.
Oh, please, you'd pick Blanket instead.
Well, it's time for our main villain coon, Bison. Voiced by Tom Weiner, who's Boss from Neo Tokyo, and Puppet Master from Ghost in the Shell, the OG movie. Because that dub is also one that's not very consistent over the years. But yeah,
Yes,
honestly, I love his performance as Bison. He hams it up so much. Where it's like, Bison, this is going on. He goes, well, frankly, I don't give a shit. You could tell he's having a lot of fun with it all. No. I'm just going to say up front, for a dub that came out almost 30 years ago, it's definitely holding up a lot better than I thought it would. It's over the top silly, but you need that in a movie like this. A serious dub I don't think would work.
Yeah.
But yeah, his Bison is great. He has some of the best moments. And you can tell why everyone fears him and all that with his psycho power. Does he do the Psycho Crusher once in the movie, actually?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on. Even the 94 movie, live-action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia got that right. That movie is terrible.
Speaking of that movie, there are some scenes where I was just expecting him to say, of course.
Yeah.
I did not make fun of the Jean-Claude Van Damme casting his guy off throughout this whole movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But for me, it was only Tuesday. After him, we have someone who got way more, screen time in this movie than I thought they would. E. Honda. Voiced by Richard Epcar, which that's a choice. But hey, at least he got to go on to voice Akuma in SF5.
Yeah.
And he's Raiden in MK NetherRealm era.
I mean, hey, this E. Honda performance is just a preview of his future as JoJo.
Yeah, as Old Man Joseph. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Dude, he just hangs out with Ryu after he bumps into him or whatever. And he's even involved in the climax of the movie. This is the best E. Honda would ever get.
After defeating Dhalsim.
Yeah, E. Honda got a weird-ass push in this film. Someone on the staff must have been in the Honda
Now fast forward 20 years later.
Yeah, his whole character could just be summed up as sumo. That's it.
I mean, this role is what Dhalsim usually gets in the game.
Yeah, I kinda like E. Honda being friend of Ryu-kun. I thought that was fun. And Richard Epcar was fun as the character, too.
Yeah, because, but he didn't say, oh my god, in an over-the-top way, though. Just that was still a few years away.
But after him, it's Vega, everyone's favorite character who fights Chun-Li. And actually, that's, again, my favorite part of the movie. They do the whole homage to the... Because when she's in the shower, they're doing the homage to the slasher flick thing. Is she gonna get attacked in the shower? They even play the stupid horror music, too.
Yeah, it straight up feels like it just came out of Halloween.
Yeah. And
honestly, the shower scene is awkward in one regard. It segues to her in the shower, then it does a fadeaway to a view of the building, then it keeps going back and forth.
I guess they're wondering if, is Vega gonna jump in through the window? Something. And yeah, this is the one where their fight is set to a song by KMFDM. And it's it's the licensed song I think works very well here, too. Well, Vega this time is voiced by Richard Consino. Y'all know him, Kenshin, from the OG Kenshin anime. It'd be cool if they got him back for the remake, but I don't think they will. And Renji from live-action Bleach. I saw some people saying online, this was Vic's debut role. No, guys got a little too quick on that one. He didn't play Vega until the Street Fighter II anime. That was also the ADV dub, not the LA dub. Again, we'll get there.
Unfortunately, this was before Vega made weird high-pitched noises.
Yeah, but he still came across very creepy and, I'll be blunt, a little rape-happy.
I mean, his character one for one hasn't changed in 30 years.
He hasn't. Especially, like, Richard Casino did a great job with, Chun-Li had damaged his face. And he goes, "My face, you bitch!"
That is 100% canon.
It is. But yeah. After him, we have Balrog, who's banned from all boxing in the world because of his violence. I guess underground boxing illegal fights don't exist in this world. Well, he's voiced by Joe Ramersa, who you don't know as Hippie from Gatekeepers. Yes, just Hippie. And Luke from The Legend of Black Heaven.
That's racist.
Are any of these old anime any good that I just mentioned? Never even heard of them till now. We'll have to check them out someday, Dai. I'm sure they're at least fun. I mean, if Balrog's barely here, he gets more than some other characters, but I guess Joe done fine.
Actually, does he even get a fight?
I thought he fought... Who does he Honda fight at the end? Yeah, doesn't he fight Honda? I think. Pretty sure.
Actually, I think Honda even helps a little bit with Bison, too.
Yeah.
He gets the biggest push of his life.
I stick by what I said. Someone on the staff was an Honda main.
So they're just an asshole that just mashed the punch button.
Yeah. Balrog's cool in this movie too, I guess. After him, though, we've got Sagat and Zangief, because they're voiced by the same person, Peter Spellos. Oh, I should mention real quick, everyone wanted to an alias for this dub for some reason, and Peter Spellos used 2 different aliases for both characters. Why? It's just silly.
People do tend to do that when they get double casted.
Well, he's Bartley from Code Geass, and Frankenbelly from Rave Master. Remember Rave Master Die? I don't see that anime ever getting a remake, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people consider that Mashima's Black Sheep at this point.
Well, in terms of anime...
Yeah. But his most notable role is the cake shop owner from Kakaishi. You remember that episode, don't you, Dai?
I hate you.
His Sagat's good. His Zangief's, again, just a glorified cameo, so you don't get much on him. I would have loved to hear him try doing a silly Russian accent. I think that would have been fun.
He shows up just to pile drive blanket, and then he leaves.
Yeah. That's my one, honestly, major nitpick with the movie, is Sagat asks to take on Ryu in a rematch, and Bison tells him, "No, don't do that." Even though the opening of the movie is basically showing what happened in SF1 with their fight, so it's teasing a potential rematch. It's like, it would have been fucking cool to see that.
Yeah, so it recaps the entirety of SF1.
Yeah, so when the cover art you said Street Fighter the movie, I guess it makes sense. It adapted the part that matters about SF1, and then SF2 went after that. But yeah.
I would love to see how stupid it is if they try to expand on SF1.
That's what I want them to do, man. Probably make it like an Enter the Dragon type thing. I mean, that's all you really could do in a situation like that.
Then again, it's better what we've gotten until now, being eternally stuck in the timeline of SF2.
Yeah. Well, after him we have DJ, who has a very stereotypical accent, and because I'm an asshole, I found it hilarious. He's also only barely here too. But yeah. He's voiced...
but you're gonna remember his scene. No, not because of him. Because of the licensed music.
Hey man, as you heard him, he said if you got a problem with his choice in music, get the hell out of his club.
I mean, I listened to the lyrics and they said, what the fuck, why is this here?
Well, he's voiced by Bo Billingsley. Well, I don't know who that is. I guess he's Jet from Cowboy Bebop. But most importantly, he's Detective Simmons from Halloween H2O. He's also Thompson from Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I hope y'all are happy knowing that. But yeah, next time you think Jet from Bebop, guys, think stereotypical DJ. You're welcome.
Oh, this is before he had his Jamaican accent.
Yeah. But DJ's fun. Speaking of characters, though, that don't get much, Cammy!
Cammy's here. Cammy's gone.
She's voiced by Deborah Jean Rogers, who's Mai in Super Dimension Century Orgus, and Ishtar in Super Dimension Fortress Macross 2 Lovers Again. Yes, I did go for both Super Dimension series at the same time to be stupid. And I guess she's fine. No British accent, though, so there's that. I think that would have been silly to hear.
Yeah, it's before the accents, before Cammy and DJ.
Well,
Cammy... I'm pretty sure DJ has one in the game.
Yeah, he does. He does in SF4. Yeah, so Cammy, she's in the opening of the movie trying to assassinate the Minister of Justice. I have so many questions about that. Justice. And then she's just in a later scene getting interrogated. That's it. Like, she's in less than 2 minutes of the film. This abuse of my wife.
She's just here to say, look guys, it's that character from the game.
Yeah. At least they included her in a better way than the SF94 movie, I guess.
Honestly, the characters are included at least just for something as minor as a fight scene. They don't shoehorn them in to make the plot even more crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after Cammy, which I guess she did fine for like the 2 scenes she was in, we have Fei Long, voiced by Bryan Cranston. Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Anyone know Walter White from Breaking Bad?
No one's ever heard of that.
He voiced an anime. Hell, I covered him before in Royal Space Force as Marty. But I didn't mention the Breaking Bad thing.
Power Rangers reboot is Zordon.
Wait, is he?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'd say he definitely
You forgot about that, didn't you?
I did. Dude, I forgot to mention... just went for anime roles during Royal Space Force, too, so I didn't even bring up the Breaking Bad thing. But yeah, so he voiced an anime before, or making it massive with being an actual full-time actor. I guess his Fei Long is fine. He's also only in the movie for a minute. I love the scene where the director's like, Fei Long's late! Why? Where is he? I don't know, sir. He's an asshole, then!
What an ass!
He even gets to make some of the Bruce Lee noises.
Yeah. You know, until you just mentioned it, I forgot, and I got recommended an article saying he was Fei Long in that SF movie. But that was like months ago, so what is it even on my mind when we were watching?
Dude, it's so weird seeing like major celebs in anime from back then. Do you know Keith Sullivan was in anime also back in the 90s? Kiefer Sutherland, I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Kiefer Snake, I got you.
Yeah, it's like, really? Just fucking weird.
That was not a good choice to voice Big Boss. Fuck you, Kojima.
It is definitely an odd decision, I'll give you that. Well, after him, we have Dalsum, speaking of glorified cameos, who's voiced by Michael Sorage, who's Dimple in Mob, and Tessai Trade Secret and Bleach. And, yeah, you figured he'd get more, honestly. Guess not.
Yeah, but his role in this movie was given to Honda.
Yeah. Thankfully, we're almost done. And yeah, Dalsum Michael Sorage did fine as Dalsum, I guess. It's a different choice. So the voice he gives him makes him sound a bit older. So I guess works. After him, though, we have the Blanket Blanca, who's only there for the Zangief fight, but I figured I'd throw him in here anyways. All he does is growl.
Doesn't he just scream? Yeah, he just growls.
But he's voiced by the ADR director himself, Kevin Seymour, who's Inspector Cat from Rosen Maiden. And I don't even know what to make of this role. Rapist Actor A from Perfect Blue.
Run up on me again?
Yeah, why do you think I was like, yeah, no, I have to get that one. What the fuck does that mean?
So is it like Johnny Go?
No, he didn't go under an alias for this, I don't think. I'm not sure on that, but either way.
You know why I said it now.
I know. Damn it. And I don't know what you want me to say, guys. Blanca just growls, and he's only here for like a scene just to get pile drive. I don't even think we get a resolution to this fight. I think it cuts away.
I'm pretty sure she's knocked out after the pile drive. I mean, that move is, well, the bane of everyone's
shit tons of damage in the game. Fuck you, Zangief maids.
Yeah. So fuck you and your apparently black hole hands that can suck people up.
And Russia, we pile drive you. And the last playable character that gets a voice is T-Hawk. Some places credit Steve Blum, but others don't have him listed.
I don't fucking hear Steve.
Well, if it is, you all know that's Baraka and Reptile from MK11. And X. And he's also Sub-Zero. So, yeah, he's also...
Clearly the voice of a Chinese ninja warrior.
Yeah, he's the last one here out of the playable cast. He's also a shit ton of ad voices, too. In fact... Okay, so I gotta bring up this stupid thing that I just couldn't help but shake my head at. Yeah, so it's the scene where Ken fights Bison, and we immediately cut from that to a Steve Blum ad voice talking. Steve Blum would go on to voice Ken in the Alpha film. So it just makes it really stupid. It makes it stupid if you are already aware of that. Makes it silly. Well, the last character... I was
about to say before, I'm pretty sure he just casted himself as Blanca because he just does nothing but growl.
Oh yeah,
Why waste casting someone for something like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. The last character to go over is Ken and Ryu's master, who's just credited as Master in this movie because he didn't have a name yet, but we know now it's Goken.
You must find Shenlong.
Damn it. Stupid thing. He's voiced by Michael Forrest, who's Jose from Gun X Sword. That's a definitely show we need to watch at some point. And Alex Rosewater from The Big O. And, I mean, it makes him sound old and wise, I guess. So,
yeah, Gun X Sword was a weird show.
I love that anime, dude. It's so silly. And that's basically everyone. You can tell some of the voices are recycled, and as we mentioned, Steve Blum. Kevin Seymour apparently voiced a bunch of ad voices too, but that makes sense, being ADR director. But, yeah. As far as the dub goes, probably better than I thought it would be watching it again for this vid. I was expecting, oh, it's going to be 90s and cheesy as hell. I mean, it was over the top, but in the best way. I kind of wonder what the edited dubs and unrated dubs were like, though, from the UK. Since I don't have the Blu-ray at the moment, I couldn't really check those. Just look at silly dub comparisons on YouTube. That gives you a slight example. But for the dub we saw, I don't know, I had fun with it. Did you like the movie, Die?
It's a stupid fun movie. Probably more impressive than it should be, considering they didn't really have much to go on with SF2.
Yeah. And
at the time.
Also, didn't you say one of the cyborgs that Bison was working on looked like Seth? Which means they clearly recycled
one of
that.
the first cyborgs you see in, like, at a glance, you're like, that kind of looks like Seth.
So they
just need to add a yin yang single, spinning ball on his torso.
Needless to say, this movie inspired Street Fighter for years to come. So,
yeah,
including
the eternal existence of SF2.
What did SF2?
Yeah, only awesome. 3 and 6 moved on.
Yeah. My feelings on 6 are really complicated at the moment. But either way, this movie was fucking great. If you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend tracking it down. There's a reason it's considered one of the best fighting game to anime adaptations, period. Like, to this day. Because a lot of the other ones are just not great. Want to go watch Blaze Blue Die?
No. No, I don't. Turning a joke ending into a serious scene. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who came up with that?
Well, don't worry, because the next fighting game anime adaptation we got to see at some point is Fatal Fury, which came before this and seems to be the thing that inspired them to make the SF2 movie because of how well it did. And it is gloriously over-the-top fun. Oh, yeah. Fun movie, if you haven't seen it, and even if you're just a casual fan of Street Fighter, I'd say go seek it out. It's on Prime Video, which is where we watched it. And, yeah. Well, that's all you all thought. Fuck them bones. Go play GTA San Andreas, Die.
Quite alright. They've killed it enough. It's already dead.
Well, let us know who, your thoughts on the movie and who you mained in Street Fighter. I'm curious. Die, who'd you main?
I don't know, we usually pick random. Not like the cast is consistent from game to game either.
Yeah. My Sakura's gone
and
again.
Before anyone says Ken or Ryu, name one person who doesn't know how to use either of them.
I mean, I guess they fight differently now.
Yeah.
They started making them fight differently in later iterations of SF2.
Actually, one thing about this movie, which is the complete opposite now, is Ryu seemed to do more Shoryukens, and Ken seemed to be more Hadoken focused.
Oh yeah, they call the Shoryuken Shuriken, which at the time was... Yeah, it's close enough.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse considering the time.
Yeah, the cartoon, for example, called him Ryu. And then one of the other dubs coming up at some point when we watch other Street Fighter things calls him Ryu. Which
so it's ironic that just became reversed in the modern day now.
Well, I guess that's it. We've dragged this on long enough. And we'll cover the other Street Fighter stuff soon, because there's plenty of other Street Fighter movies to go through, all with their own different dub casts, so it's gonna be great.
Is it, though?
I'm kind of curious to hear all the different takes people bring to the table for some of these characters in the anime.
Put your dick on the table. I got the meat cleaver.
Oh! But alright guys, we'll be back next time, and I guess it's time to watch something that might have something to do with Christmas. So, it'll be fun.
Fun.
Have a great day, guys. Till next time, thanks again for watching. Bye!